When you think of Albert Einstein, what comes to mind? Probably the crazy hair, right? A blackboard covered in equations, maybe that photo of him sticking his tongue out. But there's this other side to him, a picture of a man completely lost in music, with a violin tucked right under his chin. And let me tell you, that was a passion that shaped his life for decades. But then, the music just stopped. He put the instrument down, and he never really picked it up again. So the big question is, why? Why would he do that? That's the mystery we're going to unpack today. You see, for Einstein, music wasn't just some little hobby to chill out with after a long day of, completely rethinking the universe. No, it was essential. He truly believed that art and science were just different branches of the exact same creative tree. And his violin, that was his direct line to that creativity. But here's the thing, he didn't always love it, not even close. It was a journey that started not with some flash of inspiration, but actually with a bit of a fight. So get this, his mom, Pauline, puts him into violin lessons when he's just 6 years old. And he hated it. He thought the drills were so tedious, so mechanical, he was just bored out of his mind. But then, at 13, bam, everything changes. He hears Mozart's sonatas, and it's like a light switch just flips on in his brain. He was totally captivated by the structure, the mathematical purity of it, and all the emotion. And just like that, this chore became a deep, profound passion that would last for decades. And this is where it gets really amazing. During his absolute peak years, we're talking his most revolutionary work, his scientific genius and his love for music were perfectly in sync. This wasn't a distraction from his work, it was a part of it. Okay, check out this timeline. It's wild. In 1905, his miracle year, while he's working at the patent office, he's practicing his violin every single day. Then, while he's developing general relativity, whenever he'd get stuck, he'd pick up his violin, not just to clear his head, but to literally try to think through the problem on a different level. By the 1920s, he's a global celebrity, and what's he doing? He's hosting chamber music nights with other brilliant scientists. For him, music and science were just completely inseparable. So the big question, right? Was he any good? Well, let's be real. He wasn't about to become a concert virtuoso, and he knew it. He called himself an enthusiastic amateur. He loved the logic and structure of composers like Bach and Mozart. And the pros who played with him, they said that, yeah, his technique wasn't perfect, but his passion and his deep understanding of the music were just infectious. He played for the absolute joy of it. And that brings us right back to our central mystery. If music was so important to him, so core to who he was, why did it stop? Well, the answer isn't some single dramatic event. It's more of a slow convergence of life, age, and ambition. It really boils down to three key things all hitting at once. First, his physical health. His body just started to let him down. Arthritis, tremors, they made the fine motor control you need for the violin really painful and difficult. Second, his work. He was on this relentless quest for a unified field theory, and it just consumed every ounce of his mental energy. And third, and this is a big one, was the emotional side. He was a perfectionist, and as his own skills started to fade, the frustration just grew and grew. And you can really feel the weight of it in his own words. He wrote this in a private letter, and it gets you right here. My fingers are stiff, and my ear less keen. It's the simple, heartbreaking reality of a body that just couldn't do what his mind still loved so much. So this is really important to understand. He didn't just wake up one morning and quit. It wasn't like that at all. It was a slow, reluctant retreat that happened over more than a decade. A gradual fade from being a player to just being a listener as his body changed and his priorities shifted. Now, as with any legend, a bunch of myths have popped up around Einstein's musical life. So let's do a little myth busting and talk about his real legacy. I bet you've seen this quote floating around the internet. I would have been a musician if I hadn't become a scientist. It sounds good, right? Poetic. The only problem, he never said it. For Einstein, it was never an either-or thing. He didn't see music and science as these two competing paths. He saw them as two different languages, trying to describe the same beautiful underlying order of the universe. So what's the real takeaway here? It's actually pretty profound. His violin practice wasn't just a hobby. It was training for his brain. The discipline, the ability to see complex patterns in a piece by Bach, those are the exact same skills you need to find hidden order in the cosmos. And maybe the most important lesson of all is his story is this beautiful argument for the power of being a passionate amateur, of doing something not for fame, not for perfection, but just for the love of it. And even after he put the bow down for good, the music never really left him. Listen to this. He said this just a year before he passed away. It shows that the music had become a part of his inner world, a perfect memory of an imperfect performance that he could call on anytime. Einstein's story shows us that the things we do just for love, our hobbies, our passions, they're often the very engines that fuel our best work and make us who we are. So it leaves us with a question to think about. What's your violin? What's the passion that shapes the way you see the world?